Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. And today is Wednesday, November 6th. As most of you may know, the election occurred yesterday, or the voting occurred yesterday. And so far, we have a lot of projected to win for Donald Trump. I mean, it definitely looks like the numbers are already showing that he's going to definitely take the presidency come January 6th. So they're not actually, he's president elect and will be officially sworn into office on January 6th. So nothing really they can do right now. I mean, they start planning, their whole planning process and everything begins. So as they prep, and then we have what's called a lame duck president, which is not really, not really much for the current president, or nothing really that they necessarily maybe need to do because there's a new administration coming in. So they kind of just wind things up, tie up loose ends. You're not going to see any huge, major like laws being passed or anything like that right now, and it's pretty much looking like it's going to be a sweep for the Republican Party. So, in the House, well, not maybe the sweep, but they still have control of the Senate, and it looks like potentially the House as well too. I think that still needs to shake out a little bit more. But what does that mean? What does that mean for us in the reselling world? Because this is a reselling channel. Well, not much of anything. As a matter of fact, it will be business as usual. At least for the short term. I mean, whatever policies or anything that the new president will put into effect, we won't see those for years to come. More than likely, not during his presidency. I mean, there might be some immediate effects, but more than likely, any long-term things will be in the long term. But they could potentially lay the groundwork for a lot of what we may see over the next several years, and potentially even if and even more so if he a successor can get in to office, someone that maybe the president is going to endorse and or promote to help continue the legacy. But as far as reselling goes, what I do see and what I do potentially predict happening, short term and long term as well too. My eye is a little watery all this morning here. It's been very windy. We've had lots of we call red flag warnings. So that just means a lot of winds, high winds, and everything like that. So potential for fires. Just really here. I got a napkin right here. But what happens with the wind is it kicks up pollen and other allergens, and then I'm taking my kids to school and everything this morning, and driving through, and people are using the blowers to leaves and everything. I'm like, oh my goodness. I personally, as an allergy sufferer, as an asthma sufferer, COPD, I can't stand those things. They're really annoying. So I wish they would outlaw those, in my opinion, because I don't like them. They mess me up. But please like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, and hit the bell notification to get notified when these videos come out. But I release videos every single day. Why do I release videos every single day? Because I like videos every single day, and a lot of people that I was watching. I mean, I was gonna say I used to watch, but I still watch them. A lot of people that I watch were releasing daily content. Lamplady still releases daily content, so that's cool. And we definitely like to catch that. But a lot of other people that used to release daily content or more content more frequently are slowing down. And from me watching YouTube videos, I don't like that. I wish they would make more content, but obviously, some people, a lot of people, they have family life or business or another one which I haven't seen pop up recently is Dealing with Dalton. I definitely like to watch the Dealing with Dalton. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's just. I mean, I know he may have just had a baby, or they're in the process of having a baby, and then he was moving on to like his Amazon business. So he might be just really busy, and I definitely miss that content, and and I know, people are, a lot of people are like me who like that daily content, like to watch daily content. Maybe not everything I'm doing every single day. I'm breaking it up into what do you call it, shopping and what sold. But I mean, it's not every day because I skip Sundays. I try to do something on Sunday, a live show, maybe a few shorts here and there. But I kind of just take Sundays off a little bit. But just because it's, I like to stick to even numbers. I don't know why. I just tend to gravitate towards even numbers. But I do take Sundays off. Just kind of throws off the schedule, It'll throw off the my when I release shopping and when I release what sold videos. So, but I like watching content, and I like, as much as some of the people that I like to watch, I wish they would put out more content so I can watch it. But I get it, not necessarily everybody can do that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to do get everything set up for long-term success. Still ensure that the videos are good content. And one of the biggest things is video editing. That definitely takes a lot of time. And that can really cut into how much content people release. Is how many videos do I got to edit? How much long do I have to spend editing? So I think I've got a decent process right now, as far as editing to shooting the video, editing the videos, and trying to get them out. And one of the reasons why I do this kind of sit down content for my what solds now is I really don't have to do I have to do very, very minimal editing when it comes to this video, so it's great. Either way, circling back, let's go back. Let's go back to the presidency, the election, and everything. So Trump is now going to be in office, and if Kamala Harris had won, I definitely like the idea of a change, new things, a woman president. I don't think she was the right choice. I think everything felt kind of rushed, and I definitely feel that a lot of people felt that as well. I was listening to some other, news and everything, and they're already talking about the next, these people that are focused on the Democratic Party, they're already talking on the next, who's going to run for the Democrats against Trump, or against whoever, the Republicans put up in 4 years, and Kamala Harris isn't even in the conversation. So I'm like, wow, that speaks volume. The fact that you're not speaking about her, dang, that is messed up. So kind of leads me to believe that maybe she was kind of set up to fail, and technically she kind of was. I mean, the last minute, push to try to, capture votes was failed, as we see. So I definitely feel bad for her. She didn't really she didn't get an opportunity, and it does not look, as of right now, like she will potentially get an opportunity. I think she's kind of tied to Joe Biden, and he's fairly unpopular right now, and she will, that will be a part of her legacy. A watery eye. Getting lazy too. Like, looks like I may have gotten punched in the eye or something. Now, with Donald Trump and what I predict will happen for us as resellers. So first and foremost, Joe Biden and the administration and whoever else is behind it is currently on the offensive with or against these items that are coming in very cheaply to the U.S. Places like Temu, AliExpress, people that offer, these companies that offer incredibly low, rock bottom prices, and very little shipping as well too. Now, I have used this model before, where I ship items from China into the United States. Now, if you're shipping in bulk items, like you're buying for a store or something, there will be fees, tarps attached to all that, and so it drives the cost of each unit up. So, but doing it all online, shipping directly to a consumer, is incredibly cheap and incredibly enticing. Incredibly, you can make a lot of money doing it. But it's not, in my opinion, it's not the best products. You really have to search through a lot of these websites. When I was doing it, direct to consumer. It was very, really got to pour through these Chinese websites and, really look for the best item. I didn't want to be like just shipping battery packs or, cell phone cases, generic stuff like that. I really wanted to find cool, unique items, and I tended to gravitate towards jewelry because it was really cool and offered good value as well too. So, but a lot of places they just ship out everything, cell phone cases, battery packs, cords, because it's incredibly lucrative and valuable. There's a lot of, the individual thing isn't valuable, but the profit you make on each one is incredibly good. And there's reduced shipping rates. There's incredible, like the shipping is sometimes way better than shipping in the U.S. Shipping ground advantage, shipping like 2 ounces. Shipping, it's more like if you ship baseball cards or patches or anything like that, you use the USPS. I forget what it's called exactly, but the one that they designate for cards. Generally, you can get it around, like for one card, it'll probably cost, I think, around, if I'm not mistaken, about 90 cents or so to ship it out. And you get tracking and everything with that. That's about on par with direct-to-consumer shipping. It's very, very cheap. I think it's a little bit more than that, but it's still incredibly cheap and really, really great. And there's incredible profit to be made in direct-to-consumer from China, from overseas, primarily China. I would say overseas, but it's China. But it looks like the Biden administration is going to start cracking down on this, and there may be additional fees. There's a limit, though. There's a dollar limit to how much you can do per transaction before you start to incur fees or tariffs or taxes or whatever. But generally, most don't hit that mark. So they may be lowering that bar. They may be doing away with that bar. We don't really know exactly what's going to come of it. Now, Temu and all that, that's our, they're shopping on their e-commerce. So that's our competition as well, too. That's my competition. It's a lot of people's competition. So what I try to do is differentiate myself and differentiate the products that I sell. And you'll see a lot of this in these What Sold videos. I hope that these are helpful and show you guys what types of items to look for. Not necessarily maybe the item to look for, but what types of items to look for and what kind of items do still sell here online on eBay. Because this is the competition, and they're offering rock bottom prices. They don't have to pay that much for shipping. They don't have to pay that much for the product, and they're making an incredible amount of money. And the end consumer, is getting a great deal. Well, it doesn't look like that is going to be a great deal for very long. And this is really where I see Trump really attacking, as far as from an online e-commerce reselling perspective, going after these. And we saw it already in during his first 4 years, when it comes to computer stuff, and I'm pointing at my computer because I build computers, repair computers, all that. Initially, or during his first 4 years, we saw a increase in, price and how much it costs to get items down to China. And a lot of this stuff, a lot of tech is produced in China, or at least near China, or finished in China, or there are certain components of a motherboard that are made in China. So there's added costs that are going into these end products that are coming into the U.S. And I know a lot of people in the tech space definitely felt that that increase in price, and what was it meant to do? It was meant to try to hopefully drive companies to manufacture outside of China, to go somewhere else to get their products, and to hopefully, encourage manufacturing within the U.S. It's very, very tough. Everything's very expensive here. You got to, there's minimum wage. First of all, there's land is incredibly expensive, building stuff, permits, all this stuff. It's incredibly expensive to get something large off the ground, like a manufacturing, It's a manufacturing building or something, or so. I hope. I would like to see a lot more. And as you guys can see, I take advantage of things that are made in the United States because it signifies a great product. It signifies a product of quality. And I would love to see more manufacturing here in the United States, generating more jobs here in the United States, more jobs for Americans, build up American industry again, a lot of, obviously companies are looking for cheap labor. Companies are looking to make things cheaper so they can offer a better price. But there's definitely something to be said about, generating more jobs here within the United States, within our borders. Also, too, if anything occurs, like we saw during the pandemic, right? We were trying to get items in off ships and everything from overseas. We saw, there was just a bottleneck there, and perhaps if we had more production within the U.S., maybe we could have, the prices, wouldn't have skyrocketed like they did. We wouldn't have, a run on toilet paper. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But there's benefits. There's going to be pros and cons to every single side of things. There's pros and cons to making it within the U.S. There's pros and cons to making it outside the U.S. So, there's pros and cons. You can look at it however way. Nobody is either wrong. Nobody's really wrong or right in the matter. It's just, I tend to lean towards made in America. I look for items that are made in America because they sell. They sell really, really well when I do made in America, made in the United States. So I guess I tend to lean that way because that's what I like to sell. Now, if items are getting more expensive coming over from China, then perhaps that may be better for us as resellers because people are going to start to think, at least think twice, be like, oh man, that's going to actually cost me this much. Let me try an alternative website and shop around to look for better prices. Well, we don't get our item. Most of our items are not necessarily made in USA, but we're purchasing our items within the United States. They're already here. So we're getting our items within the United States, and we could hopefully, potentially in the future, offer a lot better deals than these other websites. Level the playing field is what we're looking at. Those people that are just looking for, like fast fashion, maybe, they'll start to think twice if those fast fashion prices start to go up. Throwaway tech, tech that just, battery packs and things that just, they die. We just buy another one because they're so cheap. It's not even worth fixing. Maybe they start to think twice now if those, those disposable items start to go up in price, and they're like, all right, let's try to look at alternatives and where else we can buy items. So I definitely think that's where it's going to go, at least in the short term, potentially long term. And we just need to position ourselves. And by positioning ourselves, I mean just making great, making great, making great. I was gonna say making great items, but I don't produce anything. But some people do. Some people do produce items. But offering great prices, still trying to get out there, source great items, try to get as low as possible, try to get the price as low as possible. And hopefully I'm providing some great items for you to be on the lookout for, items to look for that you can make money on. I know I don't show the big bowl. I don't show you the $100 items. I don't show you those $200 buy it for $5 and then you get 200. I don't. I was trying to say I don't try. I show once in a while when I think it makes sense. When I think it's definitely something to definitely be on the lookout for. But I've explained this before. The reason why I don't do that is because that's not really those people that do that. I call them one-hit wonders. They go in sourcing. They look for those one hits and they walk out most of the time. Meanwhile, I have a full cart of items. I'm filling up my cart at the flea market, filling up my cart at Goodwill with all profitable items. I'm not just gonna be okay. I need to find that $5 and turn it to $100. No, you will fail if that is what you're doing. Unless you have, you might see people on here promoting those big items. Well, they probably have other forms of income as well, too, to help supplement what they're doing. And they can afford to take those, I call them losses, just because, you're driving to the flea market, you're driving to the Goodwill, you're driving wherever you source. And if you walk away with something, you're definitely losing something in gas and time. So finding profitable items everywhere you possibly can. So getting ourselves in position for hopefully better competition so we can be in a better competitive state. In a better competitive state. All right. Enough about that. Let's move on to what sold. I repositioned things a little bit because I'm tending to lean like this way a little bit. I don't know why. I just noticed it. I was like, I'm tending to lean more this way more in my chair. So I'm gonna move the pictures to the opposite side that way. Okay, let's go. Let's get into these items. First off, really cool. We sell a little bit of everything here. Cool art glass. This was a signed piece, but I had no idea what the signature said. It was really unreadable. And that's with a majority of handcrafted items that are signed. It's going to be probably near to impossible to figure out the name. Google image can help from time to time, but for a lot of these unique items, it's going to be really, really tough to figure out who exactly made this piece. I'm just hoping I didn't undersell this item. And my eyeball is still getting a little watery there. But it was a really cool, well-made, excuse me, paperweight. Now, obviously, I didn't have any name or anything to go on, so I'm looking at keywords. My brain starts thinking keywords I can use to describe this item. An abstract art, so it's abstract. I mean, it's not, I mean, to me, it kind of looks like a starfish maybe on top, but not really. It kind of comes to I know this picture doesn't really show it, but it kind of comes to like a little, like a pyramid, like a cone. It has a cone shape to it. If you look at it from the side, it has a bit of a geometric iridescent pattern on the inside. So really cool paperweight art glass. Art glass. With a lot of glass items like this, I will put art glass in there. An abstract art glass paperweight. Iridescent. It is signed. So if it is signed, I always throw signed in there. It is signed. Cobalt blue. So it's a dark, rich blue color. Look up cobalt blue if you need to, see exactly what that is. But it was a nice, rich, deep blue. So cobalt blue. And then home. A nice piece for the home. Paperweights. Where would you necessarily see paperweight? Where would you see a paperweight holding down papers on a desk? So, and where do desks typically reside? In an office. So, home office decor. Just really cool. Trying to load up those keywords, but not use keywords that are unnecessary. Don't use keywords frivolously. I hope I said that right. Pronounced that right. What do we sell this for? Okay. We sold this one for $24, and they paid $6.63 in shipping. So I put a pound in there because it does have a bit of weight. It doesn't quite come to a whole pound, but we'll make a little bit on the shipping on this one here. And it's going to go... And a box. This goes in a box. A 6x6x6 box. Because it did have some height to it. I know it doesn't show it here, but it had some height. I think it was about yay high. So really cool piece. Really nice. Kind of stood out. The glass really, upon the feel of the glass, it wasn't necessarily, very, very high end. So I'm pretty sure I did not undersell this piece. I'm pretty sure it was not a very famous artist. So, if you guys recognize this at all, and let me know in the comments, but and then I'll cry about the potential profit I maybe could have made. Oh, I also figured out I could do this with my pictures. Let me see. Instead of like clicking out of them, I can move on to the next one. I just discovered that by accident, actually. I'm like, I can just hit the little arrow button to go to the next one here instead of going, closing out and then moving on to the next one. Okay, ship in a bottle. I keep my eye out for ships in the bottle. I do like to sell ships in a bottle. They do resell really, really well. For the most part, I have never really found one. I think I maybe found one that was actually branded, but the ones I find are not branded at all. So you really got, again, with the paperweight, you gotta be able to use your keywords to get this sold. Starting off with obviously what it is, a ship in a bottle. I do have a miniature one of this as well too. I got this kind of medium size, and it's all about, like I said, the keywords, getting the right title, getting the right item specifics. Although there's not really much as far as item specifics that you have to fill out for these, or that you're even optional for these pieces. So it's going to be all in the title here. and the pictures, of course, and the pricing, of course. So these ones right here, these medium-sized ones, around somewhere between 3 to 5 inches in height. I would generally, depending on the quality, is really, really well made. It looked really nice. We're looking probably around $30-ish is what we're looking at. And I think this one sold for $27. I'll tell you right now what it sold for. $26.91, and the shipping was $10.04. So this should probably be right around 2 pounds when it's said and done. And this will go in a it's going to go in a 975 box. I haven't shipped this one out yet. This one just sold yesterday during the election. Speaking of the election, I mean, I thought sales were going to be really low. They were not. They were not low. So that was pretty good. So probably 975 box is what I'm looking at. I might bump that up just, because it's glass. You want a little bit of an oversized box. If it's glass, you don't want it to move around. You want to have a nice cushion in there. I might go up to a 12.86 box. So, but really, really cool piece here. Ship in a bottle. It's a miniature, so I always throw a miniature in there. Miniatures do really, really well. I've sold just generic blank miniature little tiny pots before. You just got to get it for the right price. And miniatures, there's a huge collector's market and people that build miniature scenes, miniature everything. Miniatures do sell. So miniature, it's a clipper boat. I already use ship in here. You don't want to use two words at once. You want to, once I use ship, that's it. Then think of another word after that. So clipper, boat, it's glass. Kind of looks like a pirate ship, even though it doesn't have the what do you call it? The skull and crossbones, but I thought pirate ship. So pirate, then obviously sailing, it would be sailing. I could have probably put sail in here or sails, and the sea. Anytime anything, I probably could have also used ocean as well too. Ocean, sea. If it's associated with that, I will throw one of those words in there, or both of those words as well too. But still sold really well. So nice piece, and look out for ships in a bottle. Make sure they're well made. Anything like, I've seen ones that are made out of toothpicks. Unless it's done really, really well, I might pick it up. But for the most part, they're not done well at all. So I don't really think this was actually made in the bottle. I don't think it doesn't come off as it, when people use the little tweezers and put everything together. I don't think this was done that way, in that manner. So let's move on to the next one here. Okay. And we have a cowboy hat. It's just an enameled cowboy hat. Again, we have a string of items here with really, really there's no brand or anything like that on there. No branding of any kind. So really nothing to go off of when it comes to, a brand name. So we got to get, used to thinking of these keywords. What keywords can we use? How can we best describe this item to get it sold? And so we have a vintage, it's an older piece. A lot of these pins are older. And you could just tell by the enameling, by the metal in the back, the use that it has. But cowboy hat, easy vintage cowboy hat. It's a pin or a brooch. Brooches definitely can be used when you're talking about these types of pins or pins. Obviously, it's a cowboy hat, so we're looking at Western, Southwestern. I'm going to throw those words in there for sure to help get it sold. It is brown in coloring. It is enameled. And it's metal. There's metal in there as well too. So really cool. Now, again, we're not getting rich off these things, but these are what, like I always talk about, icing on the cake, items you can just throw into piles, and they're just more profit on top of hopefully whatever you're making already. So you're making a big old bundle, start throwing more items on top, and hopefully get more profit. Even small profit is still profit. $9, and this thing ships for, this will be under an ounce. But obviously anything like this, it's automatically 10 ounces in my store. So they're going to get charged whatever it costs for 10 ounces. So $5.39 is what they got charged for the shipping. And this will go in a padded poly bag, piece of cake right here. Next item. What is next here? So we got the cowboy hat and buttons. Okay, again, another item that is not going to make us a bunch of money on by itself, but these buttons here I got in a sewing kit or sewing container. There was a bunch of them. This is the last bit that I had that I sold off. There were a bunch of them. There were animals, there were fruit, there was vegetables, bunch of buttons in here, and I was selling them for right around $5 ish or so for the individual. Some of them I was selling individually. Some of them I bundled up in lots and sold them off in lots. I sold the actual sewing box or kit. I sold that for $30. We picked it up for $8 and some change. It was like $9 for everything. And we've made well over $100 on overall on this piece. And not only that, it got us a bunch of listings as well too. Yes, we're not making much on each individual listing. This one sold for let's see, what did this sell for? Strawberry. $3. They paid $4.55 for shipping. We'll make a little bit on the shipping on this one. So again, we're not getting rich, but overall, on the grand scheme, we're making quite a bit of money on this deal for the sewing kit, and it generates a lot of listings. That's also great as well too. You can do like huge bundles. You can do just do like one big bundle of things, or you can definitely do that. I like to stretch it out. There's some people that may be looking for just small individual pieces, 1, 2, 3, or 4. They don't want to buy necessarily 100 pieces at once. So that's that's kind of what I'm targeting and what I'm looking for. Those pieces, the people that buy, that just need a few here and there. So vintage boutique, and then this one did have some branding on it: strawberry fruit, buttons, white. I used vintage in there, sewing, and then lot if it's a lot, or how many are in the collection. You could also do that. But really cool. Definitely, something to be on the lookout for. Old vintage buttons. People look for them. Like if this was just like a couple of packs, and they were just sitting there, and I wouldn't buy them on their own. I would definitely look to put this on top of another bundle. It wouldn't be something I would be like, all right, I'm going to go over to Goodwill and I'm going to buy, I say, these buttons in a case. I'm not going to, buy them like that. They would have to be wrapped up in a giant bundle. For something that's going to sell for $3, they got to be in a big old bundle of things. I'm not going to buy these individually. So, but there's money to be made everywhere. I mean, even if it's a little bit of money, it's still money that we're making. We're still generating sales, and helps the algorithm too. I do believe if you're making sales, consistent sales, it helps, the eBay algorithm. It's showing that people are looking at your items, people are wanting your items, people are buying your items. Let's send more traffic to this person. So really cool. Definitely be on the lookout for it. Like I said, don't buy this individually. Don't go out and buy like one little pack of buttons. Don't waste your time to make because it will only sell for about $3. But if you get this in a big old bundle, big old lot, definitely can be worth it. And where are we at here? I think, this is the last one here. So Starbucks mug. And now everyone talks about Starbucks mugs. Look out for Starbucks mugs. Look out for destinations. But they don't all necessarily do that well. When you're looking at the destination ones, you want to look at the ones that are outside of the United States. Those ones do incredibly well. But within the United States, you're going to look out for these ones with a star on it. These Starbucks Reserve mugs. This is a smaller one. Some of the larger ones do really well. The clear glass ones do really well. But these ones sell generally for above average, in my opinion, when it comes to mugs. This is like a little bit smaller, more like an 8-ounce, I believe. $17.77 is what it sold for. $6.63 is what they spent on shipping. And this was going in a 6x6x6 box. Yeah, it was an 8-ounce mug. Oh, yeah, I have another title. So Starbucks Reserve, definitely. These went for a little bit more a few years ago. They've come down in price. I don't know really if there's any more Starbucks Reserve locations. There's no more in my area as far as I know. So these do command a bit of a premium over just standard regular old Starbucks mugs. So if you ever do see the star with the R Definitely you don't want to spend too much. $5 might be a bit of a stretch. I would try to stick to around $3-ish on these. Less is better on these types of mugs. But some of them can do a lot better. Like I said, the glass ones, the larger ones do really well. And then when it comes to the destination ones, they do good if they're ones from outside the United States. Again, you don't want to pay too much. You'll find them marked up to around $5-ish, which in my opinion is still a bit too much. Unless you're finding like Moscow, the ones from Moscow, those ones do incredibly well still. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Mugs still do sell, and some of them do sell for above average still. All right, that's everything. That's the whole wrap up of the video. I know this is probably a little bit longer, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It is Thanksgiving, as you can see with the picture, so I got to find some more Thanksgiving ones. It was easy to find Halloween, and we like Halloween. Now Halloween is over, so we got to move on to Thanksgiving, and we'll have more Thanksgiving theme backgrounds coming up. Thank you for watching.